the Revolution Show, where we'll be having highlights on the different episodes that happened during the week. These are politics, entertainment, business and economics, and finally technology. We will be looking at some of the best hard-hitting interviews, background reports, and hyperlocal reports during the show. On the technology segment, we looked at if cyberbullying is a growing trend in Kenya, and this is what we found out.
Social media has become an integral part of everyone's lifestyle. It has even changed how we communicate to each other. A look at social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and even Snapchat will show you a lot of posts that either humiliate or embarrass a lot of people. This can range from politicians, corporations, and even individuals. The large outreach of these social media sites has made everyone susceptible to cyberbullying. We asked a few Kenyans what they think about this growing trend, and this is what they had to say.
I think cyberbullying is so real in our contemporary society. So personally, I've never encountered cyberbullying, and though I've seen and I've heard of issues and cases outside. We have celebrities, so I would say celebrities fall prey to such like cyberbullying in its entirety. Mainly because they attract public attention and they're public figures and they influence trends in the society. On the lower scale, local, like citizens per se who don't have any title, any status in the society, the cases are minimum. With politicians as well, it's fast growing. It's quite some trending sort of issue right now in the social media. One, because of basically identity conflicts, like someone who doesn't have similar worldviews as that of yours, someone who doesn't think like you, someone who doesn't sort of project things the way you see them, you tend to hate on them, and mainly it's projected on the social media. So personally, I wouldn't say that I've encountered such. Though I also don't like what's happening. We have to be liberal, we have to tolerate each other within the society, we have to coexist peacefully, we have to respect each other within the society. So no matter my perspectives on reality, no matter my worldview, my identity, my social status, we just need to have an equilibrium balance of respect.
I definitely think that cyberbullying is a rising trend in Kenya because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether someone does it in a mild way or in a major way, or whether someone is a celebrity or not, because social media at the end of the day is part of any young person's life in this century. So I feel like cyberbullying is definitely a rising trend and something that people should be really careful about. Maybe it's social media, but maybe you shouldn't be too social, and also like someone should probably post information which does not incriminate them or send suspicious people towards their path, because that is what basically happens. When unajichocha post GO, I'm on Facebook, and you put all the information about you, I don't know, working, earnings due on 20k per month, and that's how people actually put themselves or make themselves susceptible to bullying. So I think cyberbullying is definitely a trend in Kenya that is very rising. Beware.
Cyberbullying is not the greatest problems facing Kenyans right now, but it is a growing trend. It is not different from any other form of bullying, and in the long run, its effects are low self-esteem and in most extreme cases, suicide. Reporting for the Revolution Show, my name is Hassan Hassan.
Hi, what's your name?
Hello, I'm Charles.
Charles, do you think cyberbullying is a growing trend in Kenya?
Yes and no. Yes, basically because it's something to be interviewed about. It must be. And no, because I have no clue. I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay.
I've never been cyberbullied before. Yeah, and I've never cyberbullied anyone.
So, from Charles, your opinion is it's a no?
It's a no. It's not in Kenya. Well, I remember there was a case here by Linda Nyangweso. Yeah, she was being cyberbullied.
But they're accountable.
Yeah, very, very, very minor issues. Yeah, and hers was just, I think it was justified. She did it.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay, so thank you, Charles, for your opinion.
Peace out!
So, Tabia. So do you think cyberbullying is a growing trend in Kenya?
Yeah.
Why? Have you? Do you have any instances that you know of?
No. Like, with the increase of internet usage, of course, there will be an increase in such vices. And there are several cases on that as well.
Okay, so from Tavia, that's a yes. Cyberbullying is an increasing trend in Kenya. Thank you, Tavia.
We just play.
And here we have Ronnie. So, Ronnie, do you think cyberbullying is a growing trend in Kenya?
Nitatumia Kiswahili. Mi sidhani kuna cyberbullying Kenya. Kama kwenye mimi nimetoka tumezoea, kama uko na shida unasema hapa. Sio kwa simu. Sio tusemangi kwa simu. Kama uko na shida. Sasa cyberbullying ni tu labda huko majuu. Huku kwetu Kenya sidhani iko.
Okay, so that's a no from Ronnie, that cyberbullying is not a growing trend in Kenya. Thank you, Ronnie.
Fiti.
I think the solution for that is basically just education. Education, especially for those who do cyberbullying, because sometimes they may not understand the impact of bullying on somebody else, the psychological impact of bullying on somebody else. And when they're doing it from the cyber space, the social media and so on and so forth, they're hiding, they're not seeing the impact directly. So I think perhaps psychoeducation, but I would also use the same social media to record testimonies of people who have had cyberbullying, and for them, so they're also fighting back from the same social media that has been used.
You've done nothing to get ready for this, and it could happen any minute now.
Maybe now would be good.
Good. I sold all your stuff on OLX, and I got this cool baby stuff at the same time. Ivan.
Salad. Post your ad for free and get some cash with OLX.
Do you think cyberbullying is a matter of concern in Kenya today?
Thank you very much for inviting me, and it's a pleasure being here. And to answer your question, yes, I know it is a concern because we are human beings. Most of us are filled with emotions. And if you say something publicly, and currently publicly is on the internet, I think it is a concern. Yeah.
Okay, how do you think you can assist a victim of cyberbullying? As a tech expert, what are the measures that you go through to assist someone who has been bullied in terms of using the internet? And
I don't really think there's a way I can solve it as now legally, because in Kenya we are yet to pass the cybersecurity law. We don't actually have the law per se in operation. So what we can do possibly is either report the accounts, or the second measure, which is relatively illegal, shut down the account. That's typically what we can do.
Do you think like at any one point in life maybe cyberbullying will be something that will be off the charts, like it won't exist anymore? Do you think like there's a possibility for that?
No, in the current generation, I don't think it's something that is going away easily. We've seen even people being elected based on their social media preferences or their activeness. We've seen people being championing for laws through social media points of views. And most of the people do respond to them, which some of them we might term them as cyberbullying, but I don't really think it will be something that will be extinct. It's currently peaking. That's why we are developing laws for them.
So are there like preventative measures to such cases, or how can you advise someone to avoid, or rather not get into cyberbullying? Like what are the measures that are put in place to avoid such circumstances?
I think some of them are circumstantial. Some you might attract them yourself, and others might just attack you, which we typically can't prevent per se, as I said earlier. We might not really be in a position to prevent such unless the law is implemented. If that law comes to play, then you can prosecute someone for doing such a thing to you.
So it all trickles down to how the government will handle the situation.
Yes.
If the legal sector is involved with the tech industry, then maybe something like
There's
that.
something we might do now. Yeah.
So, on your part, as a company, as MadTech Inc., have you ever tried to solve such a situation, maybe, or maybe someone or a company came to you for such a situation?
Okay, for what we've been able to do currently is cybersecurity, which is another high-end form of cyberbullying, where someone wants to extort you out of something, and by that they do manipulate your systems or mess up with the integrity of your data. Now, from that point, we take it as cybersecurity. Now, for us, what we do, we analyze, then get the information, as well retrieve all the data that might have been lost, and now prosecute as cyber infringement.
So besides, aside from you being a tech expert and you being involved with such things, how can you advise someone who has gone through cyberbullying? What exactly can you tell that person who has been through cyberbullying?
I might not have an answer for that because I don't know how it feels to be cyberbullied, but I've seen people being cyberbullied. There was a clip, I remember there was a program once in one of the national televisions where a lady was matched with another gentleman, and it became a very big discussion where she was called a soap, etc, etc. Now, for such a scenario, I don't know what I can tell such a person, other than some of them, you just don't put yourself in that position.
So you're saying as we should accept cyberbullying as the new normal?
No, I'm not saying we should accept it, but I might caution the people who do that to stop, because I know there are people who are somehow emotionally affected with such things, especially when you're called a soap and you're a lady, and it's on a national television and you trend nationwide. I think for such a person you might even experience low self-esteem. So it's up to us to stop doing such a thing. Thank you.
With a fleet of brand new aircraft, a brand new terminal, spacious lounges, world-class service and warm African hospitality, Kenya Airways is now more than ever the pride of Africa. Kenya Airways, connecting Africa to the world and the world to Africa.
Many entertainers are struggling hard to get their music and videos out there. Is it that the country has failed to support them, or is it that the music entertainers are not working hard enough to put their music out there?
So I think the music industry is not competitive because compared to other countries, the music industry is not, people are not concentrating on them, the government is not funding enough money for them, and they're not being paid enough. Even the Music Society of Kenya, the MCSK, which they're responsible for paying the people per view, and then they don't do that. They usually eat most of the money, and this has been a big concern for the past, I don't know, a decade or so. So even before that, people used to at least get paid. Compared to right now, like the only way a musician will earn in Kenya is maybe through advertisements or what do you call this, endorsements, celebrity endorsements. Apart from that, there is no actual income. There is no one specifically paying them, this is your money for this video or this. So I think that's the biggest problem why it's not competitive in Kenya. And the government is the major problem, and they should work on investing on this culture of music more.
Kenyan music industry compared to before we had the original idea, but now Kenyans, we are kind of losing it to the Western culture. And then when the Western culture tries to show us what we have to do, the Kenyan laws regarding on that entertainment is pretty much expensive compared to other countries. So you'll see the Western culture is mostly incorporating our neighboring countries more than us, because it's cheaper to shoot videos there, to deal with them compared to us as Kenyans. So one, we're losing our creativity by copy pasting the previous creativity, and two, the people who can literally show us the way, it's too expensive for them to come and help us. So what we'll do, where will I pay to help someone? Well, it's supposed to be the reverse. So yeah, that's just it.
Nigeria, South Africa, Tanzania, amongst other countries, are taking the world by storm. But Kenya is still lagging behind. Many entertainers do not seem to be skilled in the art of entertaining. We may say the music industry is immature, with everyone looking to be the next big thing. Not much consideration is given to sharing and collaborating amongst artists.
Okay, when we talk about the Kenyan music industry and whether it's thriving or not, I really think it's a valid statement because we need to have a reference point. I look at the Kenyan music industry, comparing with other countries, I feel like Kenya is way ahead. But you may also look at, the USA, Australia, and how they manage and how the music industry runs there. So when you compare it with Kenya, it might be a bit slow. So I think it's a really valid statement. As far as I know, there's so much potential and there's so many people working, in the background, doing so many things to improve the Kenyan music industry. Personally, I feel like the music industry is actually thriving. It's getting to a place where it's going to be, a great music industry. Yeah.
Showbiz is extremely volatile, but with no clear roadmap, success is not something Kenyans can talk about. I am Nadia Modoni, reporting for The Revolution.
The comments on Kenyan music industry. So, hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
I'm called Patience.
Patience. You like music, right?
Yeah, I do love music so much.
Okay, so what's your favorite type of music?
Personally, I think I listen to everything, so long as it has some content. But I love dancing, so most of the songs that I listen to, like maybe dance hall, a bit of bongo from Tanzania. Yeah, and a few of Kenyan music.
So personally, do you love Kenyan music? Like, would you be up for it anywhere, anytime?
Not really. Kenyan music really does not have content, especially the secular music. I can't do it. It's just boring.
So Kenyan music is boring?
Yeah, it's boring. Apart from a few, very few. I don't want to mention names, but just a few. I don't love Kenyan music.
Okay, that's sad, but okay, thank you.
Okay, but on a positive side, I appreciate quite a number of them. I listen to some, what is it called? Hip-hop artists. Like, okay, maybe Rabbit. Yeah, I love Rabbit so much because King Kaka. Yeah, he sings quite constructive things. Yeah, like I can listen to them. Yeah, and the rest they're trying. If they just pull up their socks, kidogo, it will be okay.
So, if you had to choose between Nigerian and Kenyan music, which one would you actually pay for a concert to go to? If there were two concerts, one was Kenyan and one was Nigerian, which one would you go to?
Actually, I'm very loyal to my country, and I'd love one day my country to be at the same level with these other countries. So perhaps I'd go for Kenya, just to
support.
Yeah, just to support my country.
Like an empathy thing.
Not really. I don't want to be so choosy, but I'd go for Kenya just to support them. But anytime, anywhere, any place with anyone, even when I'm sleeping, I'd go for Nigeria because they sing content. Yeah.
Okay. Sad, really sad.
I know.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Nivea Invisible for Black and White deodorant cares for your delicate skin and protects your clothes from stains. Black stays black and white stays white longer. 48 hours invisible protection and care for skin and clothes from the #1 anti-stain deodorant. Best invisible protection, now in a fresh new scent.
Welcome back to yet another exciting show on The Revolution. Our guest today is Modest Chabari, a producer and also a student at Daystar University. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's just get right into it. Do you think the Kenyan music industry is not, why do you think it's not as competitive as it used to be before?
First of all, I think it's gotten a little bit more competitive, mostly with people diversifying in music, people adapting the Western genres of music. So you find that so many artists are now producing and making a lot of music all around. So the market is small, but the people who are producing the products for the market are many. So I think the competition is more compared to back in the time when we just had a few people on the top.
So do you think like the Kenyan musicians have actually literally given up on music as a viable career option in their lives?
Few have, but I think for those who have, it's because they got into it for the wrong reasons. First and foremost, the industry, yes, it's growing slowly, but it depends on how well you place your structures. You can still earn a living from it.
So as a producer, what are some of the challenges you face in terms of working with artists and, you know, just being in the music industry as a whole?
First of all, artists don't like to pay. So you end up spending hours and hours making music for someone, and then they don't pay you on all the right that they're also growing. I mean, yes, there's that, but I need to pay my bills, I need to do other things. So the greatest challenge so far is actually people not paying. And second of all is getting people who are not actually committed to the work. You call someone for the session, they show up 3 hours later. I mean, it's not like my life is not moving. So this is basically the part where people are getting into the business for the wrong reason.
So why do you still choose to be a producer?
Passion. Passion takes it all. If you don't have the passion, then definitely you're going to lose it somewhere in between. Because even the greatest people who are earning millions and billions, they had to put in a lot of passion in whatever they're doing, because it wasn't all easy down here.
So we've seen, like in the music industry here, only a few musicians have made it out there. Like the likes of Victoria Kimani, you've seen her in Nigeria, she's doing big, but she's actually taking up the kind of music in Nigeria. Is it that we don't have originality in Kenya, or what's the case?
I think my own personal opinion is you kind of need to find your own niche, because maybe for me singing in Swahili is not my forte. If you listen to something like Sauti Sol, they can do that, but if you tell them to go sing a John Legend song, they might not actually do it as he will. So it just depends on where you find your niche. Is it in Nigerian? Is it Kwaito? Is it Benga? Is it Bongo? It just depends where you fit in.
So do you think we should be worried about us as Kenyans being left out in terms of music, because so many other countries are dominating right now in the African scene? So should we be worried at some point in time maybe we'll just be completely out as a music producing country?
Not really, because by the fact that we've actually noticed that there could be a lack of future in the music industry, it means that there's a call for action. And I, as an artist, I feel challenged to actually try and make this same industry that we all feed in. We need to make sure that it fits in the same place as a UK market, as a US, as a Chinese market, as every single market that's so far dominating. Well, there's a lot of cartels going on around in the music industries whereby the people at the top tend to promote the people who pay, because you end up realizing that the top players, like for instance, if you come back to Kenya, people like Sauti Sol right now don't have to pay for interviews because the TV stations just call them. But see, for someone like me who's upcoming, I'll have to find and hustle my way up to even get a simple review on a newspaper. So there's still like a chain of reaction that needs to be edited from the media itself, from even the listeners, because you end up realizing that someone can stay in this country and not even know who had the bandays, who the bandays, who lots of love the bandays. They just know, but if you ask them about even the smallest band in UK, they know. So it's really, as much as it's a personal initiative, there's still a lot that needs to be done on that chain, from the media, from the people who are consuming the music, from the artists themselves, from the producers. So it's like a whole chain that needs to be reevaluated for music in Kenya to actually hit markets just like the Nigerian market is.
So can we also shift the blame to how the entertainers actually present their content? Because mostly what we hear on radio or we watch on TV, the content that most musicians produce is not viable. It's not something that can actually be considered important in the society, something of that sort. So is it that the music industry is still immature? It still has a lot of growing up to do? What exactly can you comment on that?
So I think that's a really interesting question. But in terms of the industry is a bit confused, so to speak. It's still getting to understand the structures that have been placed. And partially, I think I'd say that there are two people to blame: the media and the consumers. Because if honestly, you go for these poetry nights, if you go for these underground shows that are not hyped in the media, as something like Safaricom Live would be, you actually get to meet people with content. It's surprising. Also, I'm very surprised to see the kind of music that's being played over and over in the radio stations. It doesn't make any sense. So it goes again to the media, because why will you take a song talking about partying and all that? The next advert is telling people don't drink and drive. And then what do you expect for someone to get? Yet there's someone else who's singing about revolution, like Naomi Washira. She sings about the African child. The song has like 2,000 hits, but it's since 2015. And then someone else sings another song, gets almost 1 million hits. See, it goes back to the basic fundamentals of what even you as a person you stand for. Because if that's what you want to listen to, it's what the media will play for you, because the media is all about making money. I'm not going to play a song that people will shift the channel because it's boring. So again, the consumption is a problem. Again, to the artist, you find that they compromise a lot to fit in the market. When people are starting, they have conscious music. When they start getting to fame, everything just goes. So there's that to consider. It's really a gray area to start placing a blame on.
So what exactly can you tell that person who wants to get into production, that person who is still into music? What can you advise?
I think the greatest advice so far I've gotten from my few years of experience is you need to get into it for the right reason. Like, you need to understand and know why you're getting there. If you need to be honest. If you're getting there for the fame and money, you need to be honest. That's what you are looking for. If you're getting there so that you get your message out, you need to be clear. Don't lie to yourself, because it reaches a point where now people start saying the real you. It's why you hear scandals, I don't know, sex scenes, I don't know what happens. It's like just simple how Eric Wainaina's case just went down, because people thought he's the character of the nation, and then one story comes out and your career goes down to waste. So you need to get into it in the right reason, and it's not going to be an easy way down. That's for sure. Whether you have talent, whether you have what, it's not going to be an easy way down. Like even I myself, sometimes you just rethink, but you need to keep on pushing yourself every time, knowing what exactly you want to do from it.
That is what we had lined up for you. I was your host, Joyce Njoki.